The mic's on.
You gonna turn the camera on?
We should do
mic's on. That's funny because
more talks about ASMR sometime, though, Chuck, because I want to know what makes you tingle. But that's not what we're here for today. But I do want to know what makes you tingle, my friend.
If you want to know what makes me tingle,
I'm so ready for this.
you need to ask my girlfriend.
Nice.
She knows every way to make me tingle.
Hey, everybody. Welcome to the 254th episode of the Angry Cuddles podcast.
Hi, everybody.
That's
my name is Steven.
Number.
Hi, Steven.
To my left is Tingly Chuck.
Ooh.
Hello, everybody. Hello, Caldane.
And ASMR.
Just finished mowing the lawn.
ASMR JB.
That's my new name.
ASMR JB.
Please feel free to wear
OMG.
wear that one out.
Caldane, I'm glad you made it.
Oh, please, Caldane, tell me you brought in
It's
the
dark,
smell
man.
of freshly mowed grass.
It's too dark to mow the lawn, Caldane. He says just made it because he finished mowing the lawn. I need to mow the lawn because we're getting ready to move out. Oh, if it looks like we're in a sex dungeon right now, we're actually in...
We are not in a sex dungeon.
This is where the couch co-op couch used to be.
Yeah.
And this will be our final stream from this location.
Treehouse.
From the Treehouse, which is where Couch Co-op took place.
Yeah,
we are
and
super
fancy.
I will be in transition. The podcast will continue at Will's as normal. Starting, we're off next week, 4th of July.
4th of July.
Happy 4th of July,
Up
everybody.
top. America. Yeah.
Yeah, go. So what do you guys? I'll finish this, and then I'll ask you that. So next week we're off. After that, we'll be at Will's for another couple of podcasts, and then we will be in our new streaming space for what I'm calling the studio. Is the name of the new place.
Ooh, nice.
We have had
I bought a house.
the Safe House.
Hey, game guy, what's up?
We have had the Tree House, which is where we are now. And now we will have the studio.
The studio.
And
Yep.
The studio.
Ooh, we need names for all our places.
And we will be
My God.
streaming from the quote unquote studio until our actual official, if it comes to pass, Angry Cuddles Studios. We have a space in the maybe might happen docking bay, which is going to be a gaming space in DFW. They will have a sound studio set aside for Angry Cuddle Studios.
What?
Little neon sign for AC and all that shit.
Oh,
Wow.
my God.
So we'll go there to do streams and gaming and stuff. We can
Nice.
hang out with the people that are doing their tabletop gaming and doing stuff like that. And it'll be a lot of fun.
That's going to be
And
cool.
it put them
Yeah.
on the map.
Yep.
Okay, and just so you know, we're having some pretty Did you see that?
Yeah.
Did you see? That was excellent
This is
timing
it.
on
Wait,
your
wait.
part.
We
Mother
are
Nature.
still here, right?
No,
we
actually,
are-
I have all of our shit into backup batteries. So
Awesome.
I think it literally, if the power goes out, we can still stream in the dark.
But what about the internet? When does that
Nope,
go out?
that's all. It's all connected.
Noise. You guys are going to watch us during a power outage. It's going to be legit. If it goes black and you hear screaming, call 911.
No, if it's screaming, it's probably him. I'm gonna be over here making ghost
Actually,
noises.
you know what's funny? I tell you this. I look like a wimp, but I keep my shit. I keep my shit collected during emergency situations. I don't scream.
I don't think though that wimpiness and panic are synonymous.
Well, you know, they're like, oh, what a wimp. I meant
Yeah.
it like that. Obviously.
Oh, okay.
Like,
I see what you're saying. Game guy, how's Transformers Devastation? I want to know. Your ejaculatory face emoji.
oh
I'm
my
gonna
gosh.
guess it's pretty good. Caldane, this is a mouse. This is actually this is actually the mouse that I usually use when we stream because it's like the Dell shit that came with the streaming computer. But I'm gonna try and survive without the trackball today.
You're a
I'm
monster.
gonna do my very best.
I have never been able to use a trackball in my life.
You got to get used to it. I mean, you don't got to get used to it.
Don't tell me
but
what
to
to do,
use
Steven.
it,
Don't tell
one
me what to
must
do.
get
Steven,
used to
don't
it.
tell me what to do.
What do you guys do for the 4th of July? And you guys out there as
I'm-
well? Do you do anything for Independence Day? Blow shit up.
I'm
Blow
ready
yourself
to
up.
answer this question for you. My family does participates in a parade at my parents' church, and even though I'm not really like a participating member at that church, I always drive the float. And
Okay.
I've driven that several years. Actually, the last 2 years
I could go for a
haven't,
float.
right?
I have a root beer shake.
We call it the root beer float. And why do people laugh when I say that? I don't get it.
I think it's because you're trying to have more of this sort of wispy tonal voice.
Yeah.
It makes it. You sound like you're constantly trying to fuck me.
I'm glad you finally caught on.
Wait. Constantly trying to fuck you, as in he's trying to screw with your head, or
So
fuck
it-
you
no,
as
no,
in
like it like
pull your
have
pants over.
sex with me and
Yeah.
be
of all the
inside
things
of
I've
me.
been doing, it turns out all I had to do was change my voice, and now you understand.
Finally caught on.
You caught on, my friend.
What about you, Chuck? What do you do for the Fourth?
When I lived with my parents in Denton, they had a balcony, and I used to watch the fireworks from UNT
Yeah.
because it was just right there across the street from the University of North Texas. Now, I guess we have to go to the neighborhood where the safe house was, which, by the way,
Oh yeah, the corner.
you,
and
where
I
you can
I
see
dig
fucking
that.
everything.
Yeah.
No,
right
that's
now,
like central.
that entire block is powerless. Like,
Oh, shit.
Blackout. It's like Aiden Pierce was just there.
That's awesome.
You know what my favorite thing is? I was in Europe, and somebody was like, "Hey, do y'all have a 4th of July in Europe?" And they're like, "Yeah."
Yeah.
And like, "Really? What do you do?" Nothing. We don't go from the 3rd to the 5th, you idiot.
Yeah.
It's still there. You guys-
Shark says she sits
It's
at
the
home
day that doesn't
and does
exist.
the same thing every day. Caldane, I do nothing. I celebrate Canada Day, July 1st. Except I don't go out that day, and I usually celebrate it 3 days later.
Because you're in America, boy.
And then regarding Transformers, I'd asked Game Guy earlier, the movement and combat take a bit of time to get used to, but after about an hour or so, you get the hang of it. What does it play like? Is it like a mech game, like Mech Warrior, Mech Assault, like a Zone of the Enders kind of thing? I don't think I've ever
Zone
played a
of the Enders was
Transformer
awesome.
game. I don't think I have.
I haven't. I watched a playthrough of, well, an attempted playthrough of a Transformers game for the Famicom,
Yeah.
and it's apparently like it controls like a cow on skates. So it's very, very difficult.
Okay, gotcha. So for me, like, I'm usually working the 4th of July, and I'm usually off, like, sometime in the evening. This will be the first, or is it? No, I guess I'll be off, like, this will be the second year in a row that I'm off, like, early enough to go see them. So, in our neck of the woods, there is the Botanic Gardens in Fort Worth, and they do concert in the gardens throughout the entire month of June leading up to the 4th of July. And weekend nights, they shoot off fireworks, and on the 4th of July, they do the big fireworks show. But you can see it from a lot of places around town. So we go to the end of the block, sit outside, and watch.
Shark says her roommate Ulfric, who's been on the show, believe it or not, says he gets
In a sense.
he gets naked, eats 60 ounces of meat in a fifth of bourbon because it helps him celebrate being in America. And so while he does this,
That is America
Shark,
you get.
no, there's one thing missing, and I think Caldane can help me on this. The song "Real American." I am a real American.
Throws tea in the swimming
Fight
pool.
for the rights of every man.
So the point. What's the point? What's the point of today? We are going
X-Men Apocalypse.
to talk about
Oh yeah. Speaking,
Yeah.
stormy weather and the world may end
storms
for-
in the fucking film.
I know. We might die today. It might be the Angry Cuddles apocalypse.
We'll be fine.
No.
Caldane says,
Good
I am a
Lord.
real American. Caldane, please. Fight for the rights of every man. Is he singing the song? Is that how the song goes? Oh, okay, I get it.
Were
now.
you not listening to me?
No.
Do you? That's the. He never listens to me. He never fucking lets for me. Fight for your rights. Fight for your life.
Was that an X-Men Apocalypse?
No.
No.
Okay.
Should have been. Fucking should have been.
What's up, guys? I can't see, like, okay, I'm gonna get back on track now. X-Men Apocalypse. Who you guys have seen it, I reckon.
Yes,
Yes.
indeed.
Overall, what'd you think? Just overall.
Chuck, why don't you field this one first? I get the feeling you want to say something.
In short, that's it.
No,
Okay.
mine's a little bit louder. It's more of a. I enjoyed the movie, but
Yeah.
but I can enjoy almost any movie.
Yeah, like some people enjoy being shit on.
No, yeah, that's a
That's a thing.
fetish I've heard of.
Yeah. I've seen.
Try not to incriminate
Some
myself. Try
people.
not to incriminate myself.
Some
Don't
people-
listen to me.
Some people like being shit on.
That is a fetish I regularly
Cleveland
heard of.
Steamer.
So
No, I enjoyed it. But like if you think about it as part of the X-Men cinematic universe, it's really hard to swallow.
Okay, yeah. So I wish Will had been here because Will really liked it. Yeah, so I'm sorry, I keep getting sidetracked by the chat. I'm going to let you guys chat. Let us know if you liked X-Men Apocalypse, what you thought about it overall. To me, the first time I saw it, I'd gone in seeing that it had gotten bruised up by the reviewers.
Mm-hmm.
And I watched it and I was like, actually, I liked it. I liked it fine. And I wish Will had been here to be able to defend it, because when I went back the second time, I was like, oh.
That's what they were talking about.
That's what they were talking about. No, they're right. So I defended Batman vs. Superman against the reviewers. I felt that was unnecessary. I think the reviewers have been pretty spot on for Apocalypse. So let's start at the beginning. Beginning of the film, we open up, we're in Egypt, and Apocalypse is taking over a new body.
Mm-hmm.
We're in ancient Egypt, in fact.
Correct, yes. And he, 1 out of 100, X-Men Apocalypse IMDb rating has a 7.4 out of 10 on Metascore and 52 out of 100 on Metacritic. Oh, no, wait, IMDb rating is 7.4. So that seems high to me.
Yeah.
But, okay, so Apocalypse
higher than expected for that movie.
is
Give it a little bit.
betrayed.
The initial votes for IMDb, like, they start as soon as the movie drops.
Yeah.
As a matter of fact, I think with some movies, they start even before the movie actually comes
and
out.
then the hype.
That's
hype train.
The hype train right
Yeah.
there. Give the negative reviews and the trolls a chance to really whittle that down.
Well, it's been a month, so it has come to rest.
Mm-hmm.
The reviews have come to rest.
Oh, when DVDs come out, when this thing drops for home video.
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
But, okay, so
Movie opens
yeah,
up. He's being
moves open.
betrayed.
It is a pretty, like, unmemorable opening as far as, like, X-Men movies go.
Yeah.
And it is really hard to top the first X-Men's opening. But with, Magneto as a kid in the encampment and bending the shit.
No.
Powerful scene.
And then
very powerful.
In the First Class trilogy, they go back, and do you remember when Kevin Bacon was making him do the shit with the quarter?
And
Yeah,
shot
like,
his mother and
it's
all
like
that.
really good. Okay, so Caldane, it breaks it down by act. First act, 4 out of 5. Second act, 2 out of 5. Third act, 3 out of 5, which averages out to 3 out of 5.
Movies.
So IMDb movie for X-Men Last of Days. I don't know Last of Days.
That's going to be the one after.
Oh, okay. So moving along, they what comes right after that? Like, I watched this movie twice. I went 2 times.
I forget. I really forget.
Okay,
There's a mutiny in the pyramid, and the pyramid crumbles on top of Apocalypse.
Right.
And then they dig them back up in
And
like the early 80s.
Nur or something?
Sabah and Nur.
Then we have the
You almost had it.
I thought it was En Sabah Nur.
It was Sabah and Nur.
Google machine.
No. You're right. You're actually right. You're absolutely right. It's En Sabah Nur.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
And then it goes to Magneto. And
Magneto's in Poland. Magneto's got a family now. And so I think that the film was on the right track at one point, because there's some really powerful shit in there. The scenes with him and his family, I like them. Him trying to lead a normal life, essentially a human life, like, that makes sense to me. Because if Magneto's going to continue to be the villain, I like the fact that he's now been proven right in his mind. You know what I mean?
He's been vindicated, or
Yeah, and so we have the school is up and running. Scott, Cyclops, comes back. My brother was very excited about that. Overall, it seemed to sort of just skim across stuff, and it didn't really drill down into anything. So people gave Batman v Superman a hard time for being like having way too much shit in it, and they're not wrong. There's way too much shit in that film. But I felt like the film, at the very least, did drill down into a couple of those concepts, even though it didn't touch on all of them. And X-Men just sort of flitted along for me.
See, for me, where it started being difficult was that they pull in the villains, and the initial like villains have been like Magneto and Mystique, and Mystique is here or there in the newer movies. She's kind of like redeemable and stuff like that. But
Did you like what they did with Mystique though?
Well, here's what I think. I think that literally both of the characters' entrance into this movie was literally rolling their eyes and going, "All right, let's do this again. Time to be the bad guys." Like they even were reluctant to do it, but they were just like, "God damn it. Okay, where's my helmet?"
Mystique now, coming off the heels of the last film, is now seen as sort of the hero, especially for mutants, like mutant kids.
Right? Yeah.
Sort of around the world idolize her. And I like that. I wish they had done the movie about her.
Oh yeah,
I wish she had been the main character of this film.
Aren't they going to make a Mystique movie?
I think that Fox is probably heading in that direction, but I can't remember. Ulfric, how's it going? Thanks for using all caps. And that's actually not sarcasm. I sort of like I speak in all caps sometimes, and John Hammock yells at me on his stream. To
also,
pipe the fuck
it's
down.
easier to see from like this distance.
That's true.
I am fire. I am death.
But so Mystique is now idolized. She's sort of separate from. She's sort of just doing her own thing, like helping mutants out. I guess going around breaking Nightcrawler out and shit. The performances in the film, I thought, were overwhelmingly good. The story itself is very X-Men cartoony.
Thin.
Oh yeah, no,
and that's X-Men
cartoony is a good way to put it.
It's the perfect way to put it, especially when you see that last scene at the very end, where I'm surprised they didn't break out into the guitar. You know.
Yeah. So.
Oh my God.
So
when are they going to put that in the movie?
Rather than like break down scene by scene, because there's just not a lot to do with them. Overall, Apocalypse is one of the oldest mutants. He comes back. He sees that he should, continuing on his conglomerate, like I have all these powers, and all these people. Like his world domination thing is fine. I don't hate it as a film or as a plot. Caldane says Jennifer Lawrence usually jumps off the screen and has
the
great
Olivia
presence.
Munn presence was
gone on this one. Poor Olivia Munn was the point of having her in this movie. Okay.
Go with me on this one.
Yeah.
Actually, go with somebody else on this one because I read this a couple of days ago.
Yeah.
Olivia Munn, perfectly fine.
Yep.
As especially here when she's like basically non-existent, just like Caldane said. But this guy said that they needed a better, and they had a better already, but she was in Daredevil. The chick that played Elektra in the Netflix Daredevil.
Yeah, I guess.
I mean, it didn't.
I didn't really need her as Psylocke. I thought Olivia Munn. First of all, Olivia Munn. I had a huge crush on her in this movie. But I tend to have Psylocke crushes anyway because Psylocke is a character I really like.
I was just
she looked
amazing.
She looked at the part really well.
Yeah,
like nothing about her being Psylocke was bad. It was that Psylocke herself was so underrepresented in the movie and pretty much unnecessary.
So she didn't have much to work with for sure, in terms of lines and stuff like that. But she also didn't do great with what she had. And this is ultimately what I came down to. And maybe we're jumping ahead a bit here, but the biggest problem with this film, and it's a big fucking problem. It was directed okay. The script is one of the worst X-Men scripts ever. And it's not the plot. It's not, they had brilliant actors. The whole cast is a set of brilliant fucking people, and they didn't utilize them for shit.
Nope.
Because they have here are a few examples. When I believe it is Beast, Mystique comes back, he makes some comment of "you're not in your blue form." And I'm like, is this a Saturday morning fucking cartoon? Like, why are you talking like that? There's another scene where Apocalypse shows up, Magneto turns, and what would be natural
did we
here
have Blue Man Group in this movie?
is he says
3 blue people in this movie.
Nightcrawler, Beast, and
no wait, Nightcrawler, Beast, Mystique, and Apocalypse. There's 4 blue people.
Apocalypse is purple though, right?
Yes, and 173B, or is that an 8?
In 1738.
No, you're right. Actually,
absolutely right.
This is our last podcast in
He's
1738. We're about to move, and all of our shit.
Brilliant
is,
observation.
I crushed my mini chair.
Before we move on, we actually had chairs in here, and then we decided, like, fuck it.
No, I
to get
mean,
on the
make
floor.
this thing a proper
Let's make it
angry
look
cuddle.
like we're all homeless. You are welcome. And if you guys haven't yet, feel free to follow us. If you follow us, your name will come up, and we'll get a little Dance and Chuck action.
You might get two.
Ivan Ooze. What is it? Ivan? He keeps saying Ivan.
I
Ooze.
think he keeps calling Apocalypse
Apocalypse
Ivan
Ivan
Ooze
Ooze.
because
Okay.
that's who he looks like.
Anyway, so to continue my thought, Magneto is about to rage on all these men, right?
Yeah.
He's about to kill them all, and Apocalypse shows up, and he turns, and he should say something to the effect of, "Don't try to stop me or stay out of my way," but he says, "Don't try to stop me from killing these men." Again, like, it's like a high schooler wrote the fucking script. And then Apocalypse murders like 30 people, which is a punchline at that point.
Like, if Apocalypse wanted him as a horseman,
And
he
we're
should
right,
be like,
but
hey,
we're right in the middle of Magneto's like emotional shit, right?
Also, Apocalypse should let Magneto do his thing. That way, Apocalypse is like, no, yeah, you're my guy.
Yeah,
Not
exactly.
I'm gonna do this, and then I want you to join my side so you can watch me do more of that.
Serving as a punchline, ruins any chance Magneto has to sort of form a connection with an actual connection with Apocalypse. As it stands, it's done out of pure rage, and it's not that I don't buy that. It's just that it's not the story, it's the script. It's specifically the dialogue that is among the worst.
You know what this movie needed? It needed a script by Solid Snake.
Hater, yeah.
Now-
David fucking
Now,
Hayter
I'm gonna-
saved the first X-Men
If
so
I may,
hard.
I'm going to throw out my biggest thing about this movie.
Yeah.
The very first two X-Men movies, I'm like, oh man, come on, humankind and mutant kind work together, harmony, peace. Like, I was proper like X-Men hippie. Third movie came out, and I'm like, oh shit, this is gonna be like tough to recover. Like, this is starting to become like an actual problem that if I lived in this world, I'd be like, listen, I want to be for mutants, but dude, I'm feeling unsafe. And then, First Class happened, Days of Future Past happened, and fucking Apocalypse happened. And if I was a human, I'd be like, you know what? Fuck the mutants.
Yeah.
Like, this is not safe anymore.
So,
like,
okay.
it's so
Shock.
hard.
Thanks for showing up, Shock.
It is so hard, and I am so sympathetic towards mutant kind, especially the
Towards
X-Men.
humankind.
Friends of Humanity over here.
Yeah, mutant kind and
Oh,
humankind.
okay. I see what you're saying, and it makes it harder for you to
I'm like, dude, things are actually getting
like
worse
getting
in this
worse
world.
and
You are
worse.
so specious.
So
Totally. In this movie, in this set of movies, they're not like at the end, like they save the world, and then what the humans are like, well, whew, that sucked.
So pin the political thing, because I want to do one more like really shitty line just as an example of
Alright.
like what's fucked about the
yeah,
script.
yeah.
There's a really powerful scene, a little undercut by the shitty dialogue, where, and again, we're talking about the whole movie, so full spoilers here, guys.
Oh, hey, Shock.
They realize Magneto is Magneto. The police come to get him without any metal or anything, like ropes and shit. They leave their badges
Bows
at home.
and arrows.
Bows and arrows. His daughter, they sort of use his daughter to lure him out. They let her go. She gets scared, much like Magneto did in his when he was a kid, in that same kind of way. Like, no, don't take my parents from me. That's really amazing. That's an amazing scene. Birds start doing shit, and we're like, she's got some kind of bird power, or
got,
talking to animals,
Druidic powers.
some sort of thing, right? And then the subtitles, while they're yelling, are like, what's going on? She's one of them. And you don't have to fucking do that. We're watching the film. We can see the shit that's going on. And so when the script talks down to me like that, basically pointing out shit I'm watching on screen, I get really fucking irritated.
I mean, like, they should know. They should look around and be like, what is happening? Do you see the birds that are flying around us? I think she is also a mutant.
She might be a mutant.
A mutant?
She is a mutant.
So,
a mutant!
So to your thing, the
Like, really, I'm not like such a shit here, but bad things are just they're getting worse and worse in mutant verse over here.
yeah.
And like, and then like when they finish, like they're like, all right, Apocalypse has been defeated. The world goes back to normal. No, they don't. That world does not go back to normal.
The world's fucked as shit, right?
There are so many monuments that are now missing, and probably I'm guessing in the hundreds of thousands, if not more, of people dead. Like
A lot of people probably died.
Massacres.
So the fact that this is happening is something that should have been played into the politics of the film. Now, this, I thought, served as the cap for First Class, Days of Future Past, Apocalypse. That was supposed to be, I thought, the trilogy. If Apocalypse was its own thing, starting off a new set or whatever, it'd be fine. But the thing about First Class, it was very political. The Cuban Missile Crisis and a lot of the changes that the world was going through with civil rights and stuff has this thing to it. Now we go to Days of Future Past, where we have like Cold War era shit and, you know, militarization and the use of force and stuff like that. It all has to do with the politics of the day. So we get to Apocalypse and it's just mutants trying to destroy the world.
Oh yeah.
And they touch just for a moment on denuclearization. For 5 solid seconds, we get to see a political thing, and that's what's so fucking frustrating. Is where I feel like this movie had a soul at one point, and it was gutted for some reason.
I don't think it was gutted for some reason. I think it was gutted in some way.
Yeah.
Like
Yes, Optiplex, we did go homeless. you were the third person to point that out today.
Do we know if there were any staff changes in the crew?
like with Last Stand?
Yeah.
Not outward ones that I'm aware of.
Okay.
No big directorial changes. You know, Shark in the chat put up a slew of fucking writers for the film.
Okay.
You know,
That's something else that
so
could have done
that
it.
could be a problem.
I have a good positive to say about this
Yeah.
movie. Okay, so it started with the trailer. One of the reveal trailer. So Wolverine has been like a dominant force in all the movies. It's like and then Hugh Jackman does his Hugh
seller.
Jackman.
He's a seller.
But I loved that like they pulled him back and he made a cameo appearance in this, and it was done like well and right. Like the trailer was building up to it, and they're like, "Hey, how did you escape? We had some help." And then they just show this big hairy arm and claws come out, and we're like, "Oh my god, that's the Wolverine!"
That was in a trailer.
Yeah, it was in a trailer.
I
And they-
totally missed that.
It was like the last thing you saw before it
but,
told you when
like,
it was coming out.
It made you It made me excited for Wolverine again because like this movie's not about
I had
Wolverine
no
at
idea
all.
he was in that fucking film until
it
happened.
Yeah, and when it happened, it was like he was in and out. He was like, I'm gonna Wolverine the shit out of this place, and then he's gone. Like he was such a good cameo appearance.
Not just
I loved every second of Wolverine on this movie.
Not just that, but
Okay, so Shark says the writers from the previous X-Men flicks, including Days of Future Past, carried over. So that it may not have been that specific
maybe they
issue,
blew their
but
wad on Days of Future Past because that was a really well written movie.
It was a well-written movie. So anyway, big plot hole. Not maybe not big, but we'll get back to Wolverine in a second. Right before they get to where Wolverine is, the helicopter arrives at the school. School blows up. Quicksilver has his fucking fun.
Oh, and that's
a good scene.
That's solid.
Like as well
That's
done.
how you build up on the original.
Right. From the last one when he was in the CIA and
Yeah,
around. Yeah.
that is a proper build up.
I like that they actually had Professor X being Professor X in this film, as in like he was in the wheelchair and doing mind stuff like the whole time. Because in the last film they were like, yeah, we don't want James McAvoy in a wheelchair the whole fucking time, so we'll just make up a reason for him to be walking around.
Well,
Yeah,
this time he
But-
doesn't play as big of a part as he did in the previous two movies, and especially in First Class.
yeah, that's
Although
true.
at the end of First Class, that's where you first see like
God, First Class was so good.
It
First
really
Class
was.
That was really good. And that, okay, so the school explodes. Quicksilver has his scene, right? Jean, Scott, and Nightcrawler sneak onto the helicopter, okay, where their friends have been taken because they've passed out. Then we skip to all of the friends in jail, them not. Now, I guess we can assume that Jean did something like as soon as that field is taken away that mutes their powers or whatever to block them from seeing them. You know what I mean?
Oh,
but
yeah.
it goes immediately from them in helicopter to they're running around the facility and their friends are in
It
prison.
just presumed that they escaped.
But like it's like it skipped over a thing that's like a little important. The Horsemen. So how do you now that we'll get to Wolverine and then we'll get to Horsemen. Wolverine's cameo better or worse than Fuck Off?
Better,
much
better.
Better.
This is the
Fuck
first.
Off was good. This was like I don't know how to really explain it. Like it was just he didn't own the movie. He he had his moment and it kicked ass, and it was like, oh yeah.
I kind of like that they spent. I like that they spent 5 full minutes, because in Days of Future Past they retconned a lot of Last Stand stuff, X-Men 3 stuff. Yeah. Sort of rewrote, through time travel, like we're gonna overwrite some of this stuff. And in this one, like, why don't we spend 5 minutes just completely wiping out Origins Wolverine? Like, let's just quickly brush that away.
It shows that, hey, he's still got his middle claws. He's still got everything happen to him. Just different means, but boom.
I enjoyed it. I thought, like, when they first go into that room and they go, some sort of beast in there or something like that.
Yeah, what did you think was happening?
I thought it was going to be Sabretooth or Omega Red or something. Like,
Omega Red is too human.
Okay.
I mean, in the sense, like...
he's not a visceral animal.
Right.
Yeah.
That's what I liked about the Wolverine cameo, was we have seen 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 movies now where Wolverine is this, like, snarky, tough as
shit, Paul the
nails.
Beast, thanks for following. I totally missed that. I'm so sorry. I completely missed the dancing Chuck. Well, keep going.
We've seen 7 movies of Hugh Jackman being this gruff piece of dried out leather.
Yeah.
And then he goes to fight things, and he's a badass when he fights things. This is the first movie in all of the X-Men movies where we have seen him an actual berserker.
Oh, like just
like
pure
lost his fucking mind.
And if you remember from the last second he was in the film, like Jean Grey like unlocks, he's staring her down, and then he just kind of goes and runs away, and they're like, what happened? He's like, I unlocked something.
Unlocked,
for him.
Gave him a path or something.
And it's like, oh great, like that's all they did. And now I'm like, oh god, what does he know? What is he after? And what's the premise for Wolverine 3? I'm ready. I'm ready for Wolverine 3.
So
Wolverine 3.
Wolver 3.
I hope. Yeah. I actually do hope that they play up the Scott Summers, Jean Grey, Logan love triangle.
Okay, I'm glad you brought that up.
I really do.
So okay, we're gonna do Horseman and then Scott and Jean. Remind me about that. But right before Horseman, last thought on Wolverine. The first time that I really felt like I remember X-Men 2, X2, X-Men United, when he's in the school and he like sort of loses his shit because he's got to like trying to get the kids out, and he goes on that fucking rage. Like that was the first time where I was, even in the cartoons, like Wolvie raged in the cartoons and stuff, but he didn't like kill men. It was usually robots and shit,
Yeah.
But he like sliced these fuckers up, and and then in this film, it was God. It was good to see that again. There are bright spots in this film, and that's what makes me. It's what makes me loathe it so much. I don't hate it, but it's what
we're doing so well.
It breaks my heart at times. Okay, so
it would have just been easier if it was another shit show.
Horseman, then Scott and Jean. The collection of Horsemen I thought was a powerful collection. Those are powerful mutants.
Oh yeah.
Archangel, I guess, but he has to be there because of the Angel of Death connotation, and having been literally one of in the comics. Does anybody remember who the 4 Horsemen were? Because it wasn't Storm.
Wolverine was War, I think.
I don't remember.
Okay. If anybody has that information, please throw it in the chat, and we would appreciate it. But they didn't really do much. Even and Magneto, I guess, did the most. Like he Apocalypse shows up and he's like, "Hey, I'm gonna give you some real like tits fucking clothes if you come with me." And they're like, "Shit, why not? I like fucking breaking shit." Magneto, he's like, "You were destroyed, and why don't we just kill them all?" And Magneto's like, "Why not?" But Magneto had at least some lines, he had some stuff to do. The other Horsemen didn't really do anything. Like they could have been interchangeable, right?
Yeah, why was Storm was one of them, right?
Yes.
Why did she join?
He saved her from he didn't save her from getting her hands cut off because she's fucking Storm and she could have killed those guys with lightning. But he showed up and...
She, recognizes him and was like, oh, hey, you're that guy that's... I don't know, like...
No, she just saw that he was a mutant, and I think...
But then she starts killing off people. And you saw, at the end of, Days of Future Past, when Wolverine wakes up and shit goes back to normal. Not that you can take everything that happens in all of those movies for, what they're worth, because they'll just ignore them. One movie, Magneto loses his powers, and... Xavier's dead, and the next movie they're back. with zero explanation. So it's like it doesn't matter that Wolverine wakes up and is like Storm is there and Jean Grey and Scott is there and everything is fine in the school. That's one of my problems though with the Apocalypse movie. Is like, man, how do they recover from that? And Storm's like, hey, yeah, can I join you guys now? Tried to kill all of people. And
yeah, so that's a little weak. Caldane does mention the Horsemen. There have been several. So death have been Angel, Caliban, Wolverine, Gambit, Sinjar, Javid, Psylocke. Famine has been Famine, Ahab, Sunfire, Jebly, who actually ran for president this year. Pestilence, Plague, Caliban, Polaris, Ichisumi, which I do not recognize that character. War was Hulk. Really, Hulk was
Nice.
a horseman. Okay, Deathbird, Gazer, Decimus Furious. Interesting. So and mentions before that to be awoken only when all other approaches have failed. But again, film liberties and all that shit. That's fine.
Gambit was death at one point. Ooh.
So
I can see that.
there were a couple of moments that I did like. I liked when Magneto realizes that his family's dead and he's going to kill all these men instantly. Like, that was heartbreaking, except for the shitty lines. Kind of took me out of it.
Can we just leave the except for the shitty lines part
Because we're
out?
just going to know that
it's
it's going to happen. Okay.
It's a thing.
So that was good. There is a scene near the end where when Magneto does his sort of realization, which, why did he decide to stop destroying the world?
Who, Magneto?
Magneto.
It was
there a reason,
it
or
was
did he just
Mystique, right? She came in and
he saw that Mystique was about to get killed and realized that she was family?
no, I don't think that's it. I just know she was involved.
Okay, well, whatever's reason, Apocalypse is walking sort of towards this blown-out house where the X-Men are, and a metal beam comes slamming down, and then the second metal beam makes the X in front of him. Yeah. I gotta say, that jazzed me up.
Yeah,
that was
like,
pretty sweet.
Fucking yes.
Oh, another good scene. I loved that fucking Phoenix makes a return. The Jean Grey, like, Phoenix.
Yes.
She, like, goes all... Like, I loved that she was their fucking trump card. That they're like, oh, yeah, well, we got this.
Okay,
and then
actually,
she goes nuts.
I'm glad you said that, because that brings me back to Scott and Jean, okay? So here's my problem with Scott and Jean. Scott's kind of a dick, so you can tell me...
Kinda?
So you can tell me that this makes sense in terms of characterization, but it still bugged the shit out of me. Scott shows up at school, bumps into a girl because he's blind, yells at her, is a dick, and then when he sees that she's pretty, decides to be nice to her.
Because he's the dick.
Okay, yeah, so that's what I'm saying. I think that is, like, sort of shitty of the filmmakers. You're saying that was characterization, like purposeful characterization.
No, he was a teenager. That's exactly what teenagers do.
Yeah, so purposeful
Especially
characterization.
dick teenagers.
Okay.
Like jock teenagers, like Scott Summers was and continued to be, even after Jean Grey died. And from beyond the grave, she told him to move on, and he responded to that by having sex with Emma Frost on Jean Grey's grave.
Wait, what's your MO, Caldane? And Shark says
was that
Scott
like-
Summers,
was
the
that
king
like
of the dick
after
holes.
the credits? Holy shit.
What part?
That was not after the
No, I
credits.
know.
That was
Yeah,
that is actual comic book lore.
No, I
Cyclops is an asshole.
Speaking of after the credits, there's a mention of like a company or a corporation or something that I did not like. I have no idea what the fuck that is.
We had to look it up when Crystal and I did,
Okay.
and we have a name for you,
Okay.
Mr. Sinister.
Oh, it's a Sinister thing.
Yep.
Okay. Cool. I can dig that. So, this Apocalypse, I didn't like that it followed two political films. If they're doing films in pairs or something, like thematically or something, but as a third film, and this is why I think it is the third film. There's a really awkward scene where the kids go see Return of the Jedi. And they come out of the film and and Jean Grey almost turns to the camera and goes, "And we all know the third film's the worst one, isn't it?" Ding. Oh, I guess you guys didn't even fucking try in this one then, right?
I think they were referring to, First Class. Oh, no, excuse me. Not the third one in the original trilogy.
Last Stand.
Last Stand, thank you.
It might have supposed to have been a
But
Last
they
Stand
didn't
joke,
realize
and
that
it
they
ends up being an X-Men Apocalypse
Yeah,
joke.
because it's also the third movie
Yeah.
in the new class, trilogy.
Yeah.
So it kind of took a big shit on itself. Oh, hey, and we're back to shitting on ourselves.
Kaldane, honestly,
Yeah,
I think it's a
Kaldane
little
hits
column
that,
A,
yeah.
little column B. Is that a declaration of its own film or X3?
Yeah,
It could go either way.
Well, that was no.
really.
The writers meant it for X3, but
Of course
I
they
don't-
did.
I don't know.
But Jesus,
but
have you
I don't know.
seen
in
this
the
movie?
end,
I'm not sold.
they dug their own grave on that joke because it also was about. the
I immediately thought about the movie I was watching when they said it.
Gene.
No, there's only a few movies I can think of that go, hey, and you're in fact watching a shitty movie.
Actually, so this also, one of the things that threw me about this film, I don't know if this happened in you guys' theater or not, but I think it happened in most of them, is an actor comes out and asks you to please like the film. Because before the film started, the actor that plays Storm is like, hey, thanks for coming to X-Men.
Oh
We
yeah,
put so much
We
time
put a
and
lot of
into
effort
this
into
movie.
it, so I hope you like it. And I was like, oh, this isn't good.
no, it's
This is
Never a
not
good
good.
This is
sign.
one of it's like those
Ever.
people. It's like those people who come up to karaoke. Hey guys, I've not done the song and I'm also really drunk. Just please forgive me for this.
Just, yeah.
And then they belt out.
Bear with me here.
It's like the excuse. Please excuse this garbage that's about to happen. And for karaoke,
There is never an
for
excuse.
karaoke, it's fine. For a
Yeah.
multi-million-dollar movie,
Right.
please excuse what you're about to watch.
It sort of reminded me of, do you guys remember when Seth MacFarlane and Family Guy did the Star Wars trilogy films?
oh yeah,
Uh,
Blue Harvest.
There's
and-
Blue
yeah.
Harvest, and then something, something, something Dark Side, and then It's a Trap. And at the beginning of It's a Trap, the scroll is literally, the studio wanted us to make sure that we finished off the trilogy before I went and did my own movie. I apologize that this one kind of sucks. And then it goes into the fucking thing, and it kind of sucks.
And they said and watch, we're about to waste $10,000 on some useless animation.
Yeah, there's
and then
like
a
a
hippo
elephant or
goes across and it's
helipo
like,
runs
see,
by, yeah.
see, that cost $10,000.
But it's again, like, if you admit your shit is shit, that is not gonna disarm me from disliking it.
In fact, that's probably going to make you a little bit more aware of the fact that it's
Yeah.
shit. Let us make the
Yeah.
decision on our
So
own, please.
Storm coming out and being like, "Look, guys, I've got to get hired again. My family, I got to feed my family somehow.
I got bills, man.
Bring a friend. Follow
Well,
us. If you
I
on
don't
Twitch.
remember.
Follow us on Twitter.
I don't remember exactly what she says. I think it was trying to be more positive, but it seemed like I've never seen that in a movie
It was.
that I can recall. So it seemed more begging and pleading than like
It did. Yeah. It came off as that. So
178 mil.
sorry, it's a
You
big budget.
made a tweet / Facebook post today where you had an idea for movies.
Yes.
Try to review
Yeah.
movies.
I'm fairly sure
as
we already
if-
did that with Jurassic World and me. I directed Jurassic World. It's my baby. It's my mind baby.
I think it was. Please hit that like and subscribe buttons. Yeah. I think
No,
that's what it was.
I feel like we need to find the actress who played Storm and do that for her. They're like, babe, look, we understand.
Look,
We
get
know
you,
the kind of effort that you put
and
into this.
she did great.
You did amazing.
It was great.
She was a fantastic Storm.
Yeah.
We're not blaming any of this
On a dark
you
and stormy night.
or indeed anybody in front of the camera. Now, the things that happen behind the camera,
Right. Like again, direction fine. The actors for the most part fine. The script was written by high schooler. Whatever changes they went through, whatever reshoots they did,
It was
whatever
edited
it was,
by a high schooler.
just so. Yeah, kind of a mess of a film. It may have just been a down note in a series of otherwise good Singer films. Agreed? Disagree.
I'd have to watch the Singers again.
Singers were, X-Men 2,
Right.
First Class, and Days of Future Past, and now
Right.
Apocalypse.
I'd have to watch the first two again.
The third film, I think, was the weakest of the three, but I didn't hate it. I didn't hate the third one by any stretch of the imagination. Brett Ratner, the director of three, is a fucking dick.
Yes.
I do not like him as a person, but like the movie
That's right,
itself
Chuck.
is
Oh,
fine.
best line of the first movie.
Which was what? Oh, what happens to a
frog when it's struck by lightning?
the same
to a
thing that
toad.
happens to everything else.
Yeah. Okay, so yeah.
It's not very
That
clever.
line stands out as especially bad, but and by the time they become the X-Men sort of there at the end of the film, they're starting to play with the humor a little bit, and that's why 2 was so great. was it had established its world, and it was able to be both serious and, sort of self-referential.
What do you prefer? Yellow spandex?
Yeah. What was I going to say? The end of the film, they are rebuilding the house, and they're starting the X-Men now. Mystique is on the X-Men and being a trainer. McAvoy is now completely bald, which...
It was funny how they made him bald. Like, they couldn't just it happens now.
It had to be a thing. Yeah, it had to be a...
But at this point, also, it's 10 years away from, this movie happens in, the early to mid-'80s. Steven, congrats. You were literally a baby when, Apocalypse tried to fuck you over.
I was born in that year.
Literally 10 years from then, the first X-Men movie will have happened. He went... the next 10 years is not good to Xavier.
Yeah, he does. To go from bald McAvoy to Sir Patrick Stewart.
I say that, but Sir Patrick Stewart's a
charming
and devilishly good-looking man, so
it
really...
may have been 20 years. From 83 to, 99, it's 15 years. So
okay.
It's a little further than that.
It took 15 years for him to get really, really
utterly
handsome.
Can't remember what late night show he was on, but he was talking. I think probably was Jimmy Kimmel. It's here is a picture of you during the first season of Star Trek: The Next Generation, and here's a picture of you now. Are you bathing in the blood of firstborn children every day?
Oh,
yeah, I remember that.
How does Nightcrawler fit into the chronology? So, yeah, in X2, he does seem like an unknown to them.
And he's an unknown in Apocalypse as well. They're that's a neat trick.
Right, but if they met in the 80s, assuming that this continues on to connect to the original films.
I don't think it...
But sort of the way that...
Days of Future Past changes things.
So Days of Future Past, yes.
First, second, and third films are gone.
It's not necessarily supposed to... Although I think they've been vague on it specifically because they don't know what they were going to do yet, where Days of Future Past could have made it so that they looped it back or reset everything to
I think it resets. I think it resets everything.
I think that's what has to happen for it to make any sense.
Yeah.
So yeah. Overall, I hope that they continue to make these films. I hope that they're
You don't
better.
have to hope. They're going to make these films.
Well,
Wolverine's too much of a seller.
I really like the X-Men universe, and then why give us so many scenes that connect the loop? I'm not sure if there's so much connecting them as rewriting them. Wolverine's release from the prison was a rewrite.
Yeah, I don't know what Haldane was connecting for you in particular. I can't think of any scenes that make me go...
Something that's not a nod to the original films, but... And it could be some of those things where it just some things are going to connect and some aren't because of movies.
Right.
And not that that's, an excuse to be, bad if your movie's bad. But it was the end of the film. I'm trying to remember the finale. They're training and there's Sentinels. The little in the war room or whatever they call it, right? So the X-Men are now formed and established, and I'd like to see more from this universe. When X-Men Origins came out, I liked it less over time, but when I watched it, the first segment of X-Men Origins Wolverine is brilliant with the hit squad or whatever, where Ryan Reynolds does his first Deadpool.
Yeah.
That's a great scene. And then when that scene ends, the rest of the movie's pretty shit. I was pretty kind to that film, though, the first time I saw it. I was pretty nice to it. The second Wolverine film in Japan, I actually actively liked, with the exception of the Viper character, just because her performance was awful. Awful. And that's EHWFUL.
Awful.
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 Wolverine, specifically keep Bobby out of this.
Bobby
is
Iceman?
an Iceman.
Iceman?
I don't think he's a youngster at this point. He's a youngling.
If born at all.
Iceman was one of the original X-Men.
The group selection seems deliberate to fit into X1. Storm, Scott. I guess they did kill off Havoc, right?
Yeah, they did kill him off.
I thought they killed him off in First Class. And then he just shows back up again, like, what the fuck? You're still alive? How did you do that? And then they actually killed him.
Yeah,
killed him.
Iceman is the original character, but like whereas all the other characters are like adults, like Scott and Jean Grey in the first movie.
Quantum Break.
He was busy with Quantum Break.
But in X-Men 1, he was like a child while the rest
He was
of them
like a
were
kid, yeah.
Like that was just a
He was
a
new,
decision they made. Like he wasn't going to be like the way they did the cast was not going to be original X-Men cast as they are in the comics.
It wasn't so jarring to me as like in terms of how it relates to the rest of the universe was not terribly jarring for me. What was jarring for me was the thematic shifts and stuff like that I've already addressed. So
I say we should wait to try to draw continuity lines in these movies. Let's just take the most recent 3 movies as their own continuity, take the original 3 movies as their own continuity, and like you said, they may not have known what they were going to do with it, so let's just see what they do with it.
Well, like Kaldane, obviously, like Mystique, if they're connecting, Mystique's not an X-Man.
She is now, apparently.
Well, yeah, but when if they are specifically linking it to the next one, like that's she's been with Magneto for a while at that point, right?
Yeah, at X-Men 92, they've been hanging out for a while.
So, I guess overall, like I said, the first time I watched it, I liked it fine. Second time I watched it, it sort of fell apart, and it was almost entirely dialogue based. The effects were fine. There wasn't anything glaring that stuck out as just like, ugh.
Pretty much the same level that you would have expected from the previous 2. Like the only thing that stood out to me in terms of like the special effects was all of Magneto's stuff. As soon as Magneto is awakened, that's when the CGI really begins to shine. Like especially when they're doing the doing that magnetic field around him.
Yeah.
And then Quicksilver walks up to it and starts like pushing into it.
Oh yeah, that was
that looked really, really cool.
You like that?
And also like seeing in the background all of the buildings like getting eaten up with these magnetic fields, and you see all the parts
but like
swirling around. That was cool.
Do the characters get their APOC boosts still? Like was their potential unlocked, or did he act as like some sort of conduit?
The
reason what I'm getting at is can Magneto still destroy the world if he wants to?
I think they still have the boosts. Like you're going to see Psylocke with the psionic blade again, and then
She had that before him though.
Not to this level.
Yeah, no, it was like super enhanced.
I guess, yeah.
And Storm definitely has to keep her powers, otherwise she's going to be damn near useless to the X-Men.
She's going to be Drizzle.
Yeah.
So he
Light
gave
winds.
He gave Angel like metal shit and made him more
Archangel,
powerful,
which was badass.
Yeah, that was
he made
sweet.
Psylocke more powerful, like we saw it with Magneto. I assume that he was making him more powerful because he could destroy the fucking world.
Right.
And with Storm, though, they didn't really address like what her power was prior to and after. I mean, she did more shit.
I don't think Storm actually needed much of a boost. Like she's always been like
Right.
pretty powerhouse.
Either that or all she could do was control wind.
Yeah, maybe.
A lot of people forget those. Like that's why Storm is so cool, is she can control lightning. It's like, guys, she has a lot more control than just over lightning. There's a reason why she's claustrophobic too, people.
And
Jeez.
over your heart. So we're going to wind down. Now, the last thing that we do before we sign off is we go to the can. This is the Angry Cuddles fan can. If you guys want to ask us a question to put in the can, just tweet us at Angry Cuddles using the hashtag FanCan. And I'll write it down and put it in here. At the end of each show, we draw a question, and we all answer it.
We should totally start bringing the fan can to all of our booths.
Yeah, I meant to bring it.
Okay. What are we saying?
I got to look at the question.
Here, you look at it.
So, our question from the fan can, and since I don't know anybody's handwriting, I can't point fingers.
Yeah.
The question is, how big is Mike's dick?
First of all, to answer your question for viewers, who is Mike? Mike does a Twitch Riff series with us. He used to be on the podcast a long time ago, and doing the Twitch Riff with me now, and we'll be doing a Dark Souls lore playthrough with me soon. So that's who Mike is. How big is Mike's dick? That's a fantastic question.
I have an answer.
Has been eating at us for years, if you go back and listen to like our old podcasts, like the ones before we started streaming on Twitch, we just recorded every week.
Okay, it's been eating
every
away at
week. We've
them
been trying
for
to get
years.
him to like. We'd be like, okay, Mike. So like, let us know when to stop, or let us know. Come on! Oh, come on, Mike! Oh,
no,
come
no,
on!
no!
So, so what do you
How
think?
does she sleep? How is she not dead?
I
You
think,
have an answer.
I think he started out with an average size, like just an average size.
He was bit by a radioactive dick,
No,
and he
Big
got,
enough to
No, no, no,
got
no, no,
massive
no.
dick powers.
He is Apocalypse's latest horseman. So Apocalypse came
hung like
and
the four
enhanced-
horsemen.
put together.
I'll tell you this: it doesn't matter how
Big enough to do
It
the
doesn't matter
watch
how
trick
big
twice.
Mike is. It's going to treat you gently.
Mike goes fly fishing on the weekends, says Game Guy.
Nice. This water's cold. Yeah, it's deep too. You're welcome.
Yes.
So I can tell you, I once came in, I walked in on Mike while he was masturbating. I thought he was playing Guitar Hero.
I thought, oh man, was he reaching for the long?
It was
the long
for the
keys?
buttons, yeah, top buttons.
Was he playing with the bass? Jesus, like.
Oh, by the way, what like you reminded me. I think I still have that, or maybe I don't. Guillermo used to have it, and he let me borrow it. I might still have it. The split bass.
Yeah.
Because on Guitar Hero guitars, there was a flipper, for the strum, and the bass, that flipper was split in two, so you could use your fingers and boom, ba-doom, ba-doom, ba-doom,
Get that walking bass going.
Yeah. So next week we are off. We're off next week. Enjoy the 4th of July. We mentioned the
You're
top of
off.
the show.
I'm not.
Chuck will still be streaming. Oh, that reminds me. How many people want a visual element to Chuck's streams? Like, you can hear him. Wouldn't it be great to see his fucking face?
Anytime Chuck Rage happens, it's just as much better if you can see that face.
Since he streams utilizing the Xbox One native app, we're gifting Chuck this XP1 Connect
I don't want it.
so that you can visual.
No, I legit don't want it. Because this means I have to wear clothes when I stream.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh. I like streaming naked.
But Kaldane, that happens to me all the time. Good thing Gal doesn't know there is no harmonica here.
Typical Canadian self-deprecating humor.
Okay, well, maybe Chuck doesn't want to have a visual component to
Oh,
his
no,
stream.
I'll totally take it.
Okay.
Fuck you.
Okay.
I was just making a joke.
There you go.
Thank you.
Yeah, you will have to wear clothes, though.
I know.
Chuck will still be streaming. I will probably be streaming, but it kind of depends on what I can do over the next few weeks while we're in transit. I might go over to JV's place and we can play some stuff.
Y'all can see
And
my new digs. Just
Dragonfly
moved into
can confirm that this is true. He refuses to wear clothes. Well, at least wear a shirt, man, and then keep it shoulders up. You can still free ball. Just don't stand up.
All I'm saying, man, is, okay, for starters, home is where the pants aren't.
Mm-hmm.
And secondly, that room is hot.
Yeah, you guys.
Well, that's
you guys
'cause
don't have
you're in it,
central.
Chuck.
You guys don't have central.
That's because
air.
you're in it.
We have outboard. We have outboard AC. Also, third and most importantly, she likes me naked. So, who am I to turn a pretty lady down?
What else do we have coming up? When we come back after our break, we will be talking about D&D campaigns, tabletop gaming. We also have some more game devs that I'm not ready to announce yet that we're talking to come and show off games and stuff. But the next dev might be one that you actually would have heard of, or at least one of their games. Heard of one of their games from Let's Play Expo. Assuming I can get them scheduled. But I don't want to say anything about it now.
Yo, they're big.
I'm really excited about it.
Have you
but
seen that Steam page?
They've
got so much shit on there.
they've
man.
got shit. Yeah.
A lot of DLC for their last couple of games too.
So you need a balls fan, says Game Guy, like a little clip. Just
I need a balls fan at all times, man. That
You know
shit
those-
just gets
you know
like
those big
130 degrees.
You know
in there.
those big ass fan companies? You just need to get one for like your entire house.
right.
Not for your balls.
And walk around like I'm just hunched over all the time. Jesus,
Someone
this wood
sees a
is so
fan
strong.
attached to you, and they're like, "What's that for?"
Also, Chuck, you didn't answer
Yeah.
Game Guy on Steam. How fucking dare you, man?
I didn't even know. I didn't even know that there was a thing on Steam that you had said. I'll have to go and check on that. I have been trying to get a series of games because we got the press pack.
Yeah.
I'm not even sure if I'm going to be able to play it
Yeah.
anymore
Yeah,
because that was rough.
yeah.
But
I hear you.
even you,
Yeah. I couldn't play it on my laptop. I may have
You
to
had to
play
play
it
it on
that.
that?
I may have
Okay.
to play it on the bigger PC.
hey, that just means that if those are the people that we get on the next dev podcast, we get to play it with them.
Yeah.
And
quite,
I will be
quite possibly.
very happy about that.
But we'll keep you guys in the know about that stuff. If you guys haven't yet, make sure that you follow and like and subscribe and do all of the things. If you look right above JB's beautiful head, you can see all of our social media stuff up there. At the bottom is our website for angrycuddles.com, which is where our webcomic
Not
is.
my dick.
If you... Oh, yeah, sorry. Sorry, Dragonfly. I thought you were talking to me. This is what... I need a chat, like someone here. That's why we need a producer, so they can be attentive to the chat while I'm doing stuff.
You should be the producer.
Enjoy...
Let me be the host.
I enjoy too much.
I'm never going to fucking let it go.
I know. Enjoy your time off, guys, next week. Shark, enjoy your time off next week. Our artists are off next week as well, so there's no webcomic. We're just taking time off. And then we'll be back mid-July and new place in August. So, my name is Steven.
My name is Chuck.
I'm Jonathan.
What?
I said, I am Jonathan.
Yeah?
I said my name is Jonathan. Yo, I
This
feel
would
like
be Jonathan.
I feel like we need to have a bottle of Mad
ASMR
Dog.
John.
We need a bottle of Mad Dog out here and just pour one out for the last episode we do at the treehouse.
I want to do a follower drive where we